Hi, everybody, and welcome to CAP Artist Shoutouts. So this is a new segment that we're doing where we're going to feature our CAP Artist Community Arts Partnership working artists every Saturday here on Facebook Live at noon. We're going to give you a little bit of insight about their personal practices and how they came to be a teacher with community arts partnerships and how that's just incorporated into their personal practices and maybe even their lives. So today we're going to start with Miss Allie Runyan, and forgive me, y'all, I gotta read her bio. And if you like to actually read through this with me, it's in the caption underneath this video. So Allie is the CAP at Home administrator as well as one of our teaching artists here at CAP. Miss Allie has been with us for about 3 years and usually teaches classes such as Intro to Arts and Crafts, Wearable Arts, Intro to Sculpture, and Intro to Painting, as well as stars as one of our, I think she's our Tuesday or Thursday at 12, CAP at Home Digital Art Making Channel artist. So Miss Allie is from Commerce, Michigan, and has a bachelor's degree in fine arts and art education from the College for Creative Studies. Okay. Now she's working as a mixed media artist, creating large-scale installations, assemblage, sculptures, performances, and various collage works. The advice that Miss Allie would give artists following in her footsteps would be to continue your art practice every day and take care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally, and most importantly, have fun and enjoy what you're creating. So we are going to get her on here with us. We're doing this for, I guess the second time. Oh, okay. I can add her. Add. Yes. Here we go. She is coming on here. We're going to ask her a few questions about her personal practice and then about how she feels about teaching with community arts partnerships. So here she is. Hi, Miss Allie.
Hi, Rachel. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thank you for getting us together with this CAP online. We haven't just kind of fallen by the wayside because you kind of brought this to our attention as something we should be doing while we're all quarantined. So we really appreciate that. And I love what you have going on in the background.
This is that's my studio. Amazing. I'm currently in my studio, and so I have some of my projects up behind me.
Okay, well, that kind of takes us into our first question, which is, what is your art practice like? Where do you work? How do you work? That kind of thing.
So I make lots of different assemblage sculptures and installations. So meaning I take a lot of recycled and found objects, a lot of old toys, and I take them and turn them into kind of other objects, kind of renaming what they are. So when I'm working, people donate things to me all the time. I have a lot of teachers in our family, and so I have lots of donations, so I have bins of them, and so then I often have them spread out around me on the floor, in my little nest, and I sort of create and build based on what's around me. It's very intuitive and it's very in the moment, so I'd make things based on looking at textures and colors and things that I get inspired by.
Okay, cool. So how did you get into art, or teaching art rather?
So I actually have a lot of artists and teachers in the family. It was very natural for me to come by, but I was really lucky because all through school I had super supportive teachers and parents. I had worked with my elementary school teacher, and I was helping her at an art camp, and she gave me private lessons, and we still talk today. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, and then my high school art teachers always worked with me on extra time, and so I always had awesome art teachers and classes to take that were available to me, but I also have a ridiculously supportive family, and they were always even when I was super young, I remember my cousins and my sister were playing outside, and I would be drawing, and my grandpa taught me how to draw portraits when I was in 2nd grade, and I very distinctly remember that because I remember drawing his big nose. But it came really naturally to me to be like an artist, but then all through school I always wanted to help students outside of school, do extra tutoring and then kind of do art camps. And so then by the time I was like in late high school, I kind of knew that, all right, I was definitely going to go into art, and I always loved working with people and helping people, so it felt pretty natural to be a teacher too. So it wasn't really, I was
Okay.
lucky. I knew pretty young what I wanted to do, unlike a lot of people. But I mean, I
Yeah.
was really lucky to have like family members who were really supportive and always like come to my art shows and were always like really excited to see what I was working on, and like awesome parents who let me turn the basement into a studio and
Same.
upper the garage and things like that. So it kind of came naturally.
Okay, so what would you say the best part of teaching is?
The kids' endless creativity. Like kids have just this natural creativity and tons of energy, that is just crazy. And it's hard for, I think, adults to, like, when we have a lot going on and we're stressed out about work and we have all these other concerns, and their kids' like energy and creativity is so pure, and sometimes it's like hard to get that as an adult. And so I often feel that I'm energized and inspired by kids because they think of stuff that we wouldn't think of because they don't have all the other adult like things going on in their life.
Right.
And so and their like excitement about things is just what I like would strive to match in my own work. And I think that's also why I make a lot of things that I feel like could be able to be related to for a kid, an adult, and anyone in between. It's very accessible to all people.
Okay. So, in the beginning, when I was introducing you, we talked about some of the classes that you've taught with CAP. What would you say are your favorite classes to teach and why?
My favorite class to teach by far is wearable art. And I think that's because I know that you also teach wearable art, but I feel like we do it in very different ways. And which is a good thing. I feel like teach like wearable art in a way where like, okay, we're gonna make like teach them how to sew or do things that are more practical.
Like, a little more technical. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, let's take scrap paper and trash bags and make stuff. And I feel like that's also how I work in my own work, is using a lot of like recycled and reused materials because we're a pretty environmental family, and so I think about stuff like that. But I also feel like there's also like a stigma sometimes that making art or creating art projects, you have to have a certain type of materials, and I like doing classes like that because we can use just like paper or like brown paper bags and like plastic bags and things like that to create things like tutus or like big beards out of plastic bags and like and I think there's also like a really fun aspect of that, so kids, it gets them to realize like, oh, I can make an art project out of like simple materials, I can wear it, but I'm also like having fun. That kind of introduces the idea of like performance art as well.
Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, so we're going to go over one more question and then wrap this up. So, what advice would you give young artists following in your footsteps or just period?
Yeah, I feel like young artists, one thing that I was when I was going through school, I noticed that I always wanted to make things that were fun, and I wanted to have fun when I was making art. And sometimes there's a stigma that art has to be so serious or political or have like really heavy messages. I just want to remind kids that and other artists following in my footsteps that while art can be really serious and does have a really good place to promote a message, there's also something to be said about art that's fun and gives people like a reason to smile or laugh because there's so many other things going on that sometimes you need a break. And so like I feel like I use my artwork like that. I use it as another worldly sort of aspect. So my advice would be to remind people that art can be fun. Art, you can make art to laugh, and you can enjoy it. If you're having fun, if you're excited and you're having fun, then other people will too. Like you can tell someone's excitement when you're talking about your work. And if you are excited, then somebody else can get on board with that really fast. So just that, and remember to just keep making art constantly. Even if like you're stuck and you don't know what to do one day, if you just like doodle on a notepad,
Yeah,
like even that can get like
definitely.
the creative juices flowing. So
Yeah, it definitely, that helps me all the time. So thank you so much, Miss Allie, for taking some time out of your Saturday. I know it's a nice day, so we're all going to get outside. But we want to remind everybody that we will be right here next Saturday. And Miss Allie and I are going to switch places. So I'll be in the hot seat answering the questions, and she'll be interviewing me. So we're going to try to do this every Saturday as long as we have artists to fill the space. And you can also come back on Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon to join us for our CAP at Home lessons. And we want you to add questions in the comment area. So if there's something you want to ask Miss Allie or something that you want to Miss Allie to ask me next week, maybe add that in the comments and we'll definitely get back to you. So thank you so much for watching. We hope to see you on Tuesday. Bye.
bye everybody. Thank you.